So the day that Sunny came into my life, or the day that I met my best friend, was July 28th, 2009. I had just started my shift when I was waiting tables at Joe's Crab Shack at the time. One of my guests that was sitting at one of my tables said, "Oh my God, someone just threw a dog off the bridge." And I was like, no, there's no way, that's not possible. Sure enough, looked a little bit closer and could see her floppy ears, her head kind of bobbing in and out of the water, and she was swimming in circles, you know, I think because she was in shock. I grabbed a coworker of mine and left my tables there to fend for themselves, I guess, and eat crab legs. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I knew I just needed to go down and figure out what was going on and help in any way that I possibly could. I just jumped around and acted like a crazy buffoon and started yelling baby and trying to get her to swim towards me, and that's what she did. And it turned out that when we had called 911, the fire department dive team was actually practicing at the Belle of Louisville at the time. So they came out on a boat and pulled her out of the water. She was jumping all over everyone, she was licking everyone, and she was just pure joy. So I was like, what's gonna happen to this dog now? And the fire department guys were like, you know, we're gonna take her to Metro Animal Services. And I knew what would happen to her if she went there. And I was like, you know, I'll take her home, I'll find her a home, why not? Had no idea what I was doing. At the time I was 21 years old. And I think I had her for like 12 hours and I knew she was mine. I knew she wasn't gonna leave from the second she walked in that door. That horrible act of cruelty changed the course of my life forever.
When Sunny was thrown off the bridge, Kelsey was facing eviction, went to her vet at that time, who insisted on muzzling Sunny, tried to go to other vets. They wouldn't see her because she was a pit bull. And the odds of meeting people with pit bulls at the time was very slim because they were not making it out of shelters. And none of the rescue community were rescuing pit bulls. It was just not acceptable for us. Before pit bulls, it was Dobermans, and it was German Shepherds, and it was Rottweilers. And I think that because pit bull type dogs have been used by people who take advantage of and abuse their people-pleasing nature, that it made for good press. So I think in large part it was a matter of ratings and drama and complete misinformation. But once that image is planted and that fear is created, it is very hard to undo it because you have to do it dog by dog by dog, person by person by person. We developed a relationship with J.B. Ogle when their director, Sarah Green, came to us specifically and said, we need help working with our pit bulls and getting them adopted. Because of course there were more pit bulls than anything else. So they had a smaller operation and great resource of space that allowed us to get in there and really spend time with the dogs. I have never seen anything like it in terms of a rescue and a shelter working together.
We work with multiple rescues, but Saving Sunny is probably one of the only ones that pulls bully breeds from us. I think pit bulls are probably one of the most loyal and one of the best breeds to own. Them working with them, taking them out of the shelter and to educate people is more than good work.
What we do is we spend a lot of time working with dogs at the shelter, and we evaluate each dog based on their individual needs and based on the needs of our foster home. For example, if Dante has some issues with jumping and fear of men and being a little bit too excitable, then we could put him in our foster Michelle's home because she has great skills when it comes to behavior. Her husband is very happy to work with dogs that are fearful of men, and her son Miles is 10 years old and also knows how to give direction.
My current foster dog is Luann, and she is probably a Bull Terrier mix. She has giant ears and she's very cute, and really, she is a rock star. Clay was part of a drug bust and a dog fighting bust. He was then evidence in a court case, and he was property, not like a living, breathing being. So he was in quarantine at Louisville Metro Animal Services, and he was there for 16 months. When Saving Sunny started, I don't believe there was any other pit bull specific rescues in our city, and now there are several. And more rescues will take pit bulls now, and I think a lot of that has to do with Saving Sunny events and public outreach and different things to really change the perception and let people see the type of dogs that they really are.
The Pity Fair originally started to educate people by bringing pit bull type dogs out in public. What it quickly evolved into was this big celebration. All kinds of people who wanted to come integrate with the Saving Sunny community. And dogs from all over, of all variety, any breed, any type. It is a celebration of who we are, who the dogs are. It's magic.
Before the Pity Fair, there really wasn't a public community event where pit bull owners felt incredibly welcome. And, you know, there was never really an event that celebrated pit bull type dogs and their owners. So that's what we started out doing. But now it's kind of just our flagship event.
The mission was to rescue, rehabilitate, and rehome pit bull type dogs. And then at some point in the conversation, the question was raised, what if we could stop the flow into the shelter? As we have grown and learned more about the causes of animal homelessness, we realized that we're so focused on the dogs that we had not been thinking about the humans. The light went on for us. The humans are the bottom line for whether that dog stays in a home or goes to a shelter. And if we don't help the humans, then as much as we want to help the dogs, we're going to be on a hamster wheel. Best Friends Animal Society received some funding that was to be designated for pit bulls in the state of Kentucky. We said, let's find a zip code or two where the intake is very high and see what do people need. So we thought, let's just give them those basics and see how it goes.
We are all really quick to pass judgment on people that give up their pets. We don't know the situation that they're in. We don't know what resources they're lacking. So why don't we start evaluating these issues, practice a little bit of judgment-free compassion, and advocate for not only dogs, but their humans too. We founded the Community Dog Resource Center in May of 2014. Our module is proven to work. Even the first year that the CDRC was open, owner-surrendered pets from that specific zip code dropped by 20%. Passion Meets Fashion event was really awesome, and we have a great partnership with Micah, who is the owner of Play Dance Bar, and Logan is the owner of Blowfish, which is a gender-neutral clothing line, and their motto is all for all. Really just the three institutions, Saving Sunny, Blowfish, and Play Dance Bar, all advocate for equality just across the board. You know, all walks of life deserve to be evaluated as individuals, not based on their physical appearance, gender, sexual orientation, or socioeconomic status. You know, our dogs are judged by a lot of people solely based on their outward appearance, and the LGBTQ community is also victim of the same kind of discrimination.
This is a fight we fight every day at Saving Sunny. We know the sting of discrimination. Making the connection between dog and human, all of these beings who've been treated unfairly most of their life, who have had some degree of living in fear for whatever reason, and we all come together and it is a party. Before Saving Sunny, felt sort of helpless in the face of the tragedy and the cruelty and all of that stuff. And now, I feel hope. To get to see pure evil and suffering be transformed into joy and possibility and hope and goodness. It's as if we get to witness miracles.
Sunny was diagnosed with cancer on February 5th of 2016. Her passing definitely had a profound impact on all of us. It would be a disservice to her amazing legacy to stop helping animals. Her face, her just incredible wide smile is the reason that I became an advocate. And I think that a lot of people can say that about her. I think the biggest point to drive home when it comes to Pit Bull Terrier dogs is that they're just dogs. There are amazing stories like Sunny's every day, but there are also millions of Pit Bulls in homes that do nothing but love their families every day.
We're looking at these sweet, gentle dogs who humans have let down and mistreated for human gain over and over again. And it is so intolerable when we see this repeated victimization of these dogs and we meet them and they are sweet and vulnerable and dependent as any dog that any family has ever had. There is something in us that says, no more, not again. We have got to find our humanity again. In our case, the Louisville community has got to find its kindness and its openness, and it's got to look at the temptation to stereotype whether it's a dog or a human, whether it's a pit bull or a person of color, whether it's a pit bull type dog or it's a gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender person. Discrimination and bias and stereotype, if we can start to topple it in one of these categories, we will hopefully start toppling it everywhere.